Hello everybody, John here and welcome to yet another XK8 show. And this show is all about subscribers' garages and how they store and look after their XK8s. But we can't move on without addressing the fantastic thumbnail that we've got for this episode. At the time of recording, about 140 of you will have this image in your hands because it's the front cover of our 2023 X100 calendar. And that competition for the best photo of an XK8 was won by Oot McKittrick. And Oot was kind enough to send in a picture of herself with her calendar, very proud. And she also sent me this amazing picture, just something that she'd played around with a few years back, inspired by the Back to the Future film, in which she'd done a bit of light painting with an image of her car Kitten. So thank you so much, Ute. This is an absolute treat of a photo, and as soon as I saw it, I didn't have to read what you've written to know Back to the Future was the inspiration. Thank you so much. Our next images come courtesy of Bill Spitzer. Bill and I had engaged in a bit of an email conversation discussing an old topic, which is that Jaguars, particularly the XK8, seems to attract the right sort of attention. You never get the negative, bitter conversations that some people have to endure just because of the cars they drive, and Ferrari owners I know are amongst those people. Anyway, Bill sent me in some photos and a little story to go with it, and I'm just going to read direct from his email. My experience too, like yours, John, is very favourable in terms of onlookers commenting on the Jag. One of my favourites occurred when I was sitting in a restaurant one afternoon and a Jaguar was sitting in front of the large picture window. This is a later image, taken from the same restaurant at another date. I noticed at one point this quite attractive young lady had stopped and was staring at the Jaguar. Well, it was too much of an opportunity for me to pass up, so I went outside and stood beside her. She turned and said, "Is this yours?" I said, "Yes, it is." And she says, "What is that?" I told her it was a Jaguar XK8, to which she immediately blurted out very enthusiastically, "Ooh, I want one of those." It was pretty amusing and really nice. Like Bill, my experience is very much people will strike up a conversation with you in a street. They don't have to be at a motor show. It's just whenever the car is around, it just looks so beautiful and so timeless. People fancy chatting about it. This is Virginia Classic British Car Show, another place where Bill's showing his cars. He's also into motorcycles, British motorcycles specifically, but I don't know if you can call it a collection when Bill's actually owned the bikes from new. So, well done on keeping these in spectacular condition, Bill. And Bill has also sent in the images that I've been requesting, so I'll encourage more of you to send in pictures of your garage. What's in your garage? How much space have you got? What's it like? Your storage solutions, etc. And I'll continue to share them as I get little groups of them to share with you. And Bill is very lucky because there's a little bike collection and he's able to store it all in the same place as his Jaguar XK8. And it's not his only toys, he's got others. So well done, Bill. It looks really well swept in there, and I am noting oil below the motorcycles, but it's an old British bike, and the only reason that Honda overtook us in the UK was they knew how to build gaskets and seals. so that's forgivable. The car you're seeing in these images has actually recently been sold by Bill. In May 2010 he purchased this 2004 in quartz with a dove interior, and he kept her until March 2021 when he sold her at 153,000 miles. And he only sold her because he was able to pick up a 2005 carbon fibre edition XK8, so a much rarer beast. This one was in absolutely pristine condition and only covered 49,000 miles. She was so pristine that there wasn't even dirt in the wheel wells. Perfect wheels, new tyres. She had been plastic coated to prevent the paint from being damaged. And there were only 200 models sold in the US and 100 back in the UK. So compared to the more common US special edition, the Victory edition, where there was 1,050 of them, this is quite a rare machine. I particularly enjoy the carbon fibre edition because if you look at the images here, you can see that they've got sports pattern seating. So you've got the curved seams rather than the pleats. And you've also got a charcoal coloured Alcantara insert in the door panels and on the seat fronts. Now, like my car, I have a sports model but with an all leather seat. I quite like the really contrasty look when you have the dark Alcantara velour, call it what you like, in addition to the pale leathers. Next up we have a couple of great pictures from Phil Crowell. Phil is a Brit by birth, spending the first 40 years here, but has spent over 3 decades in Australia, Sydney to be precise. And he sent me a nice email. Thank you very much, Phil. Hi John, loving the videos, particularly the XK8 flavoured ones. You mentioned in one of your recent videos that we should show others where our precious cars live. This is mine in Sydney, Australia. I share a large shed with my wife's stables and carriage, and this is my section. I put in a 4-post lift some years ago and used it for maintaining my 1966 MGB Roadster, and then the restoration of a 1958 Frog Eye or Bug Eye Sprite. Having recently sold both old sports cars, the garage is now home to my 1998 XK8. So far I've replaced the front suspension bushes, shock mounts and drop links, as well as updating to the metal thermostat tower and a new water pump. I'm currently tidying up the interior with plenty more tasks scheduled. Without your encouraging videos and those of the usual suspects on YouTube, I would have been in a complete pickle, wondering where to start. Thanks for all the help. Well, thank you very much, Phil, and thank you very much for these images. I'm particularly liking your collection of old signs. I do like an old tin sign. The next picture comes courtesy of Kelvin and Lynn Burgess. Hi Kel, thanks very much. And his email is, hi John, hope this finds you and your family well. Looking forward to a great Christmas season. Just today I've received my To The Garage calendar and I felt I should tell you what an excellent production it is. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your YouTube channel. Look forward to any new XK8 information, as I've only had my 1999 XK8 for 3 years, previously owning Jaguar Mark IV cars. So it's all very new to me. Thanks again, Kel. Many of you will remember Kel's car from our photo competition. He was one of our entries. Kel lives in Melbourne, Australia, and his car is a 1999 XK8 Classic Coupe. It's British Racing Green, has an ivory leather interior and a burr walnut dash. Great photo this was. The things in the background are grain silos that have been painted. That's absolutely amazing. painting on the left is a glider possum, and the one on the right is a kingfisher. The images of Kel's garage exhibit that time-honoured trait of recycling and repurposing old kitchen and bedroom furniture for shelving and storage in your garage. Top man. Continuing our Australian theme, the next one is Dave Nolan. And his message reads, "G'day John, trust this finds you well. I've continued to enjoy your channel, not least the side hustles with the camper. We've enjoyed some great breaks here in Oz with similar vehicles, albeit rented. On the XK front, my 97 coupe continues to give great service, though I've encountered some occasional electrical faults, typically in the wet, ABS problems, not charging errors. So I've invested in some new ABS rotor detectors, a replacement you of course have carried out, though I'm praying not to have to drill out the hubs like you did. The waste seal item was also relevant to me since I painstakingly restored the old ones, which were not too far gone once I'd eliminate all of the aluminium oxide dust. I managed to mask and spray them in Dorchester grey, which should give them a few years anyway. As previously mentioned, the enemy here in Queensland is really the intense summer sun and plastic breakdown rather than salt-related corrosion. An expensive purchase having been an irreparable rear brake light for the parcel shelf. You asked for some workshop pics, and while I suspect you were thinking inside, I thought you'd like my old dairy from Flaxton here in the Sunshine Coast hinterland. Old by Australian standards anyway, and now sporting a custom-made leaper I recently commissioned and installed by myself on a calm day, along with a shout out to my old employer BP. The waterside picture thrown in for interest gives a Moreton Bay backdrop at Cleveland Point. Life in retirement goes on apace with continued renovation of the home up here. Alas, not much vehicle time, but I have designed an inspection pit which may go in next year. All the best from down under, Dave." Thank you so much, Dave. I love your shed, garage, dairy. It does look fantastic, and oh, I so want a Jaguar weather vane now. For our next pictures, we're back in England in Herefordshire, and Ricky writes, "Hi John, Ricky here, first time contributor to the channel. This is where my XK8 sleeps. It's a very tight space, hence the mirrors everywhere. The rest of the garage accommodates my glazing business, so seeing all the room that everybody else seems to have gives me real garage envy. Thanks for all the XK X100 info you put out there. Thanks very much, Ricky." Well, yes, it's a tight space, but I can really relate to it. I used to do kit cars when I was a kid. By kit cars, you know, building cars from a chassis and instructions using donor vehicles, and did it in a rented council garage. And everything you put in that garage had to be either put back in the boot of the car before you left or stacked very carefully against the walls, because it was just long enough for a car and just wide enough so that if you parked right over on one side, you could squeeze out of the driver's door. Also, I've got that self-same cast Jaguar plaque as Ricky has on my garage door at the front. But I haven't got a scythe, Ricky. That is slightly worrying. This one's from Andre Legerman. "Hi John, here is where my XK8 resides during the winter. It's not a workshop where you can walk around the car, but fortunately I managed to ban the garden tools and bicycles to a separate shed. I admired the dome mirror that Andre's got in the rafters of his garage, and he commented that, yep, the mirror is indeed for positioning the car. I'm not very good at that. Therefore, I also mounted a license plate holder with a camera and put an overlay on the rear view mirror with integrated monitor. Also, he notes that he's managed to find the battery torch that we featured in a recent XK8 show video at a local hardware shop for just €9, and he's installed that as well. Looks like you got some pretty good organisational skills there, Andre. I'm also noting the little pulleys in the ceiling for winching up, I guess, a bicycle. So thanks to Andre, who believes in the Netherlands. We remain in the UK for the next images, and these ones come from Neville Hobbs. He's a real regular contributor to the channel. Neville's the dashing young gentleman in the brown hat in this picture that was taken with our fellow enthusiasts at the 25th birthday party for the X100 at Gaydon. I really must organise some get-togethers for 2023 so that we can meet up and chat with other like-minded enthusiasts. It was great. Neville sent in this little video clip of his garage into which he has squashed two Jags, X150, X100. You'll note the Jag is parked under the bench. He's also got a set of quick jacks, which are like a scissor lift split in two. He says it's a brilliant tool, but very heavy to lug around in and out of the garage. So that's something to take into account if you fancy one of those. Again, I've got to say, very much more organised than me. Everything seems to be in boxes and toolboxes and plastic containers. Well, I've got a lot of stuff strewn about. But again, bookcases from the house, I note. Pictures on the wall share Neville's previous obsession with a stag. Car I really like. A stock of useful woods. And hanging from the ceiling, we see evidence of a model aircraft. So many hobbies involved in Neville's life. But yeah, look at this. Lots of very well organised shelving. I need to work on my shelf action. And you'll see the quick jacks coming into view again around and about now. That's the scissor lift. Imagine two separate scissor lifts that go underneath your car, one for each side. Great thing, but heavy. Thanks ever so much for sharing this, Neville. Two Jags, one garage is possible. If any of you would like a really good XK8 XKR read over Christmas, then I suggest you check out Gary Van Remortel's XK8 Bible, which is hosted on the To The Garage website. So you can either go over to my website and check out the tab that says XK8 Bible and other useful stuff and read it from there, or you can use this QR code on screen, show your smartphone it, and it should take you straight to it. Gary doesn't normally appear too much on the channel because he's a shy, retiring type. Isn't that right, Gary? But we have got this image from inside his garage giving evidence that his XK8 has to share the garage with its Mini-Me. We've also got images that prove he's got one of them dashboard protectors that stop the UV from damaging the top of your dashboard. Tailored mats like this are unheard of in the UK. We're not even sure they're real things. They're mythical, because why would you have one? Yeah, the difference in weather between where Gary lives and Lincolnshire is significant. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thanks ever so much to everybody who contributed pictures, videos, emails, etc. I got lots of others, but I can only do so much. There's only so much time in the day. Yeah, hope you all have a great Christmas. Hope you get something you'd like. I'm going to get back to reading my Jaguar Enthusiast magazine, which I've had in my bag for weeks and is now a little bit out of date. If people aren't, all up mirrored up. If people aren't members of the Jaguar Enthusiast Club, then you might not be familiar with the fact that they give a great magazine, free to subscribers, delivered to your home every month, that's full of really good, interesting articles. There's usually something good in here about XK8s, XKRs, articles, etc. I'm the worst possible example of an advert for the Jaguar Enthusiast Club because I have the magazine and I attend absolutely nothing, so I don't get much of the benefit that you could get from this club. But I've got to say, not paid for, not sponsored in any way. It's a good club and well worth joining if you've got any interest in Jaguars at all. And I will definitely be putting out some videos over the Christmas period because I've actually got a bit of time. Looking forward to that. See you soon. Bye. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.